Hello and welcome back. Today I'm doing something a little bit different from the last few pieces of content that I've done. Today's topic that we are tackling today is the reality of laziness. I feel like we really need to have a real conversation about because it's something that I tend to struggle with from time to time. I know you're struggling with it too because if you're here watching this, then you probably want to hear my take on it. So let's just go ahead and cut the bull. Let's get right into it. If you're here, you're probably tired of feeling lazy, right? And you want to start making some real changes in your life. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Laziness is a choice, right? And if you decide to be lazy, it just means that you're not in survival mode. And that is something really to think about. That's kind of deep. Here's the hard truth. Lazy people get left behind. It just is what it is. They watch from the sidelines while others are building the lives that they want. And so we're just going to go ahead and keep it all the way real that life, it's not easy for anybody. I guess unless you're making like a whole lot of money and you're sort of living the life of Riley. Just generally speaking, we all have struggles. But if you stay in that victim mindset, as I like to call it, life is just going to move on without you. No one is going to hold your hand forever or feel sorry for you. Maybe they will for a moment, but then they move on. And honestly, you need to do the same. I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm just saying it because I want you to succeed. I've been there, feeling stuck and unmotivated, wondering why nothing was changing in my life. But here is what I figured out. Laziness is a luxury you cannot afford if you want to build something meaningful. It's really time to take responsibility for where you are in your life and where you want to be. So in this video, I'm going to share some practical tips on how you can break out of laziness and start creating the life that you want. But here's the catch. You've got to be willing to do the work. I've said this in previous videos before. You have to do the work in order to make these things happen for yourself. So if you are ready to face the truth and make some real changes, make sure you stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have no more excuses. First, let's get one thing straight. If you're able to be lazy, that is a privilege. Think about it. The only people who can afford to be lazy are the ones who have enough security in their lives to not worry about their next meal, their next paycheck, or their survival. If you've got time to sit around and do nothing, it means you're not facing survival level stress. And while that might sound like a blessing, it's also a trap. Laziness is easy when you don't have immediate consequences staring you in the face. Let me give you an example. When someone is in survival mode, whether they're struggling with their weight, their health, or their finances, they don't have the option to be lazy. If they need to put food on the table or improve their health to survive, laziness goes out of the window. It's a matter of necessity now. They have to act. But if you have the luxury to choose laziness, then it's time to recognize it for what it is, a choice you're making. And that's one that could be keeping you from moving forward. So let's have a real talk here. You might be in a position right now where things feel comfortable enough to stay lazy, but where is that getting you? Laziness isn't going to lead you to the life you want, and it's definitely not going to help you achieve your goals. The truth is, if you don't push yourself now, you'll be left behind. And people who are successful, who make things happen, they don't wait for someone to come along and do the work for them. They show up. They take responsibility, and they get things done. If you're ready to stop making excuses and want to know what it really takes to get out of the cycle, keep watching. Up next, we'll talk about the halo effect and why people who seem to have it all together actually work harder than you might think. You'll want to hear this. Now let's talk about something called the halo effect. It's a psychological phenomenon where we assume that if someone is beautiful or successful, they must have it all together in every area of their life. You might see someone who looks amazing and think, wow, they must be happy, confident, successful in everything they do. But the truth is that halo doesn't just happen. It takes work. Here's the reality. Maintaining success and looking your best requires discipline and a lot of effort. Beautiful people, successful people, they put in the work behind the scenes that no one else sees. Whether it's sticking to a workout routine, maintaining a healthy diet, or putting in long hours to build a business, there's a lot going on behind the curtain that you just may not see. Nobody gets to have it all together without putting in serious effort. And if you want that for yourself, you have to be willing to put in the work too. If you want to combat laziness and start benefiting from the halo effect yourself, the key is to focus on building your life force. This means prioritizing your health, diet, and exercise. It also means nurturing your relationships because when you're connected with others, you're less likely to isolate yourself and fall into that lazy, unmotivated state. The more you build these core areas, the more you strengthen your energy and the easier it becomes to stay motivated and disciplined. Now that you know the truth behind the halo effect and how much work it takes, let's dive into the practical steps you can take to boost your energy and discipline. Up next, I'll share how focusing on health, relationships, and routines can kickstart your productivity and keep you from falling back into old habits. So, speaking of health, relationships, and routines, let's start with the basics: your health. If you want to stop being lazy, you have to take care of your body. This means paying attention to what you're eating and how you're moving. A poor diet filled with processed foods and sugar will make you feel sluggish and lazy. On the other hand, nourishing your body with healthy foods gives you energy and sets you up for a productive day. And let's not forget about exercise. Moving your body, even if it's just for 20 minutes a day, can make a huge difference in how you feel and how motivated you are. You don't need to become a gym rat. Just start small and build from there. When people feel lazy or unmotivated, they tend to isolate themselves, which only makes things worse. And the reality is, we're social creatures and we need human connection. Whether it's reaching out to friends, spending time with family, or talking to a therapist, staying connected with others helps combat those feelings of isolation and laziness. If you're feeling down, don't shut yourself off. Lean on the people who support you. And if you're not comfortable sharing with friends or family, talk to a therapist or even a stranger. I know sometimes when I was feeling down, I would sometimes talk to mentors, pastors, teachers, anyone who I felt like I can really trust. Sometimes a simple act of connecting can boost your mood and motivate you to take action. Another crucial step is building a relationship with yourself. If you're constantly on your phone, scrolling through social media, or keeping yourself distracted, you're not giving yourself the chance to connect with your own thoughts and feelings. Take time to journal, meditate, or just sit with yourself. Reflect on where you are, what you want, and how you're going to get there. This connection is the foundation for manifestation and achieving your goals. When you understand yourself and are clear about your intentions, you're in a much better position to take the steps needed to reach your goals. Humans thrive on structure, and routines help us stay organized and productive. When you have a morning routine or a set schedule for your week, you know what to expect, and you can plan your actions accordingly. If your life feels chaotic, and it's likely because there's no structure in place. Start small. Maybe it's having a set morning routine where you make your bed, stretch, and set intentions for the day. Or perhaps it's setting aside time for self-care each evening. A clean, organized space and a structured routine help clear your mind and set you up for success. If you're still with me, great. You're already showing a commitment to change. Up next, I'm going to share why reminding yourself of your goals and committing to them is essential for beating laziness and staying on track. You will not want to miss these practical tips, trust me. One of the biggest reasons people lose motivation and fall into laziness is because they forget why they started in the first place. Think back to when you first set your goals. What was driving you? What was your reason? Whether it was for financial freedom, to provide a better life for your family, or simply to prove to yourself that you can do it, hold on to that reason. When you remind yourself of your why, it's easier to stay committed, even when things get tough. Laziness thrives on excuses. I'm too tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm just not feeling it today. Or my personal favorite, I'm too old. It's time to shut down those excuses. Ask yourself, are you going to keep letting excuses control your life, or are you going to take action? Every time you make an excuse, you're choosing to stay stuck. And taking responsibility for your actions means deciding that you're done with excuses. It's time to hold yourself accountable and take action, no matter how small, every single day. It's not just about motivation, it's about responsibility. If you've experienced difficulties in the past, whether trauma, setbacks, or disappointments, those things don't define you unless you let them. You have the power to take responsibility for your own healing. This means accepting that while you may not be at fault for what's happened to you, it's your responsibility to heal and move forward. Blaming the past or waiting for someone else to fix it for you won't help either. Only you can decide to move on and take those steps towards the future that you want. Keep watching because these next tips are key to mastering your mindset and taking back control of your life. It's easy to fall into a victim mindset when you face challenges or trauma, but that mindset keeps you stuck. Constantly talking about past struggles and sharing your trauma with others can actually lead to people losing respect for you. It's not that they don't care. It's that over time, they start to see you as someone who is defined by those experiences rather than someone who has moved past them. If you want to stop being lazy and take control of your life, You have to let go of that narrative. Instead of holding on to past pain, focus on growth. Set new goals and continue progressing so you don't become stagnant. Laziness creeps in when you don't have something new to strive for, or when you let past events keep you in one place. Ask yourself, am I moving forward or am I letting my past define me? Continuously push yourself to find new challenges and projects and remind yourself that you're capable of more than you think you are. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but it does mean choosing not to let it control your future. Healing takes time and sometimes even years, but taking the first step is crucial. Whether that's going to therapy, journaling, or practicing mindfulness, start somewhere. Remember, the past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Use it to fuel your growth and not as an excuse to stay where you are. Next up, I'm going to talk about how embracing solitude and managing your emotions can be a game changer for productivity. If you're serious about making changes, you won't want to miss this. These strategies are key to taking your life back. Okay, so let's talk about solitude. In a world where we are constantly connected and distracted, it is so easy to forget the power of being alone. But solitude isn't about isolation, it's about giving yourself the space to think, to focus, and to create. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, other people's opinions, and distractions, it's hard to connect with what you really want and need. And taking time for yourself, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in silence, allows you to just clear your mind and focus on your goals without the interference of the outside world. Emotions are powerful, right? But they shouldn't be the ones steering the wheel. It's important to feel your emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, or frustration, because suppressing them only causes them to build up and come out in destructive ways later. Allow yourself to feel and purge these emotions, whether that means crying, talking it out, or even doing something physical like exercise. However, recognize that emotions are temporary. Just because you feel something now doesn't mean it's permanent or that it should dictate your actions. Feel it, release it, and then move forward. Here's the truth. Discipline is what separates successful people from those who stay stuck. You're not always going to feel motivated, excited, or inspired, and that's okay. It's during those times that discipline kicks in. You have to show up and do the work, even when you don't feel like it. That kind of hurt a little bit. Discipline isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about understanding that feelings are temporary and that they don't have to dictate your actions. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to stay consistent and productive. If you're ready to take this a step further, the next section is all about building courage and vulnerability. How putting yourself out there and accepting help can be the key to breaking free from laziness. Courage isn't just about putting on a brave face or acting tough, it's about being vulnerable, stepping outside of your comfort zone and allowing yourself to grow through new experiences. It means taking risks, even when you're afraid of the outcome. For a lot of us, that might look like meeting new people, trying something new, or putting ourselves out there in ways that make us uncomfortable. It's easy to stay in a safe bubble, right? But true growth and confidence come from stepping beyond that bubble and facing the unknown. Here's another thing we often overlook. It takes courage to accept help. And many people struggle because they think they have to do everything on their own, that asking for help is a sign of weakness. But the truth is, none of us can do it all alone. Sometimes help comes in the form of friends, mentors, or even strangers who cross our path at the right time. When you accept that support, you're not just receiving help, you're acknowledging that you're worth being supported. Don't let pride or fear get in the way of your growth. Productivity looks different for everyone. What works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. The key is figuring out what being productive means for you. It could be working out. It could be creating a project or learning something new. It's all about finding your own rhythm and being intentional with your time. If you're trying to live up to someone else's standards, you'll only end up feeling lost and discouraged. So take time to define your own version of productivity, one that aligns with your goals and what makes you feel accomplished. Next up, we'll discuss the importance of surrounding yourself with the right influences and how to distance yourself from negativity. If you want to protect your energy and stay on track, you'll want to stick around for this part. If you're serious about overcoming laziness and taking control of your life, you need to take a hard look at the people who you surround yourself with. Are they lifting you up or are they pulling you down? If you're spending time with people who constantly complain, drain your energy, or engage in toxic behavior, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to stay motivated. And I'm just being honest. You don't have to cut everyone out of your life, but it's important to create some distance and protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who push you to be better, and who share similar goals and values. Often, it's not just the people around us that influence how we feel, it's how we choose to see situations. So instead of seeing everything as a challenge or a setback, start focusing on what you can control. If you have negative people in your life, focus on how you react to them rather than trying to change them. You have the power to control your thoughts and actions, so choose to see situations as opportunities for growth. Reframe your thinking, and suddenly those same people or situations lose their power over you. One of the most powerful tools for protecting your energy and staying focused is gratitude. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. When you start to appreciate the good things in your life, even the small things, you shift your focus from negativity to positivity. And it might sound simple, but practicing gratitude daily can change your entire perspective. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, whether it's your health, a supportive friend, or even a small win from the day. This practice helps keep your energy high and reminds you of your own strength. All right, if you've made it to this point, it shows you are serious about making a change. Now it's time to take action. Laziness, comfort zones, and negative influences, they're all just obstacles you can overcome if you're willing to do the work. You don't need a perfect plan, you just need to start. It's about taking one step today, then another tomorrow, and building that momentum. No more excuses, no more waiting for the right time. The time is right now, and you have everything you need to begin. I want you to take a moment and I want you to reflect on where you are right now and where you want to be, right? Think about those steps you've already taken just by watching this video, by committing to the change. What are the goals you want to set moving forward? Whether it's focusing on your health, building stronger relationships, or improving your mindset, I want you to write those goals down and hold yourself accountable. Remember why you started and let that be your motivation to keep going. You are capable of so much more than you realize, and it's time for you to step into that power. I know it's not always easy, and there will be days when you'll feel like giving up, but that's when you dig deeper, when you remind yourself of your why and keep it moving. I'm so proud of you for making the commitment to grow and become the best version of yourself. So take that energy, put it into action, and start building the life you know you deserve. You've got this, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I hope this video inspires you to take control and make real changes. If you found any value in this video, please be sure to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below on what action step you're committing to today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and remember, you are capable of more than you know.